All right. Well, good afternoon, Victoria. Hope you're well. My name is Ashley Strevel. If I haven't met you yet online, my name is Ashley Strevel, and I'm the Director of Communications and Public Affairs for the City of Victoria. I'll be moderating today's briefing. At this time, there are no new cases of COVID in Victoria County. To date, we've only confirmed those 3 COVID cases in Victoria County. As I mentioned, no additional cases have been reported. I would like to remind you that you have various ways to watch today's press briefing live. Local news channel 25 and radio stations Kix 108 and Magic 95.9 also are live streaming. For any local information regarding COVID-19, please visit victoriatxoem.org or call our hotline at 361-580-5796. Today we have our City of Victoria Assistant City Manager Mike Etienne and Glenn Dry, Chairman of the Golden Crescent Community Organizations Active in Disasters. They will discuss the liaison group that's been established by the City of Victoria and includes local partners and organizations from within our community. Victoria's liaison group was created to help increase the coordination between our local partners and organizations to ensure our community receives the appropriate resources that are needed during this time. The group also identifies volunteer opportunities and available resources so that we can be more responsive during this evolving situation. We'll hear first from Mike Etienne, who co-facilitates this liaison group with the City of Victoria's second Assistant City Manager, Derek Farrell. To speak more about the liaison group and its structure will be Mr. Mike Etienne.
Thank you very much, Ashley, and good afternoon, Victoria. Again, before I begin, let me start by thanking the citizens of Victoria for their support and also for calling the hotlines to volunteer. Victoria is indeed a very compassionate city. We have received many calls from our citizens who want to volunteer, who want to be part of the solution by volunteering their time, donating resources and money. So again, thank you to all Victorians for pulling together during this time of crisis. So the Liaison Team is a network of key organizations that essentially was created by the City Manager. The Liaison Team has 4 key objectives. One is to identify the needs in our community. 2 is to identify the available resources so we can connect the partners to the resources. 3, again, is doing a good job in connecting the partners to the resources that are available. And 4 is problem solve. The City Manager, City Manager Garza, assigned 2 assistant city managers to be the facilitators because he wanted to make sure that problems are resolved quickly. And also because we have the ability to connect directly with public officials to get problem solved. That's what we want during this time of crisis. We want to solve problems quickly and efficiently. So the team, the liaison team, includes 2 volunteer coordinators. Those coordinators work with the partners. We have 1 coordinator from the county, that's Sarah Hammond. The other coordinator is Celeste Menchaca with the City of Victoria. The liaison team members is very vast because we want to bring everyone under this tent because we want everyone working together to meet the needs of our community. So the team members they include the University of Victoria, University of Houston, Victoria, Victoria College, Victoria Chamber of Commerce, the Victoria Economic Development Corporation, Explore Victoria Conventions and Visitors Bureau, Victoria Main Street, the Golden Crescent Workforce Solutions, Victoria Independent School District, and the Golden Crescent CORAD. The Golden Crescent CORAD consists of Mid-Coast Family Services, the United Way, the Regional Planning Commission, churches, and others. So Glenn Dry is the chair of the CORAD group. So we meet as a group, the liaison team, on a daily basis. Every morning at 8:30, the team gets together to identify the needs in our communities and work together to solve the problems.
That sounds like a wonderful and productive team. Thank you, Mike. Can you talk a little bit more about the business activities that are functioning within this same group?
Yes, thank you for that question, Ashley. As you know, fellow Victorians, our business community is experiencing a difficult time at this time. So to help the businesses, our Victoria Chamber of Commerce has set up a Facebook page called Together for Victoria. So the Facebook page is meant for our local businesses to let the community know about their days and hours of operations, if they will be closed or have additional services that they may want to provide. So again, the Facebook page for businesses to go on is Together for Victoria, and that's in by the Chamber of Commerce. Also, our small businesses have been hit the hardest, as you know. We have heard that Fasadi's business is down 75%. Fortunately, the Small Business Administration is now providing a low-interest loan called Economic Injury Disaster Loan. The loan amount can be up to $2 million, and the terms are up to 30 years, 3.75% interest rate for businesses, 2.75% for nonprofits. This loan is working capital that can provide vital economic support to small businesses to help them overcome the temporary loss of revenue. So the UHV Small Business Development Office is actively working with our local small businesses to help them fill out the application and hopefully be successful. So if any business or small business would like to apply, we encourage them to call the UHV Small Business Office, and that number is 361-485-4485. Also, as you might be aware, over 200,000 Texans have filed for unemployment benefits. This week, the new unemployment claims in the United States broke the record high that was set in 1982. So we have encouraged our local companies and businesses to contact the Texas Workforce Commission prior to laying off any employees. Help those employees sign up for benefits before you lay off. So we're encouraging that. And TWC has waived the wait week period. So if you have questions in that regard, if you're an employer, you have questions, please call our local Workforce Solutions Board, and that number is 361-578-0341. Finally, to help meet the basic needs of our most vulnerable populations, that's the homeless, the elderly. Specifically for the homeless, the city has partnered with our local nonprofits to place hand washing stations throughout the city. The stations have water, soap, and paper towel, and Waste Management Services cleans the stations on a daily basis. They also spray down with Lysol every day to make sure the stations are clean and safe. The hand washing stations are located at City Hall, so if you want to go wash your hands with soap and water, you can go to a hand washing station at City Hall, at 700 Main, at De Leon Park, at the library, Christ Kitchen, and Queen City Park. So again, the city partnered with the local nonprofits to help ensure that our most vulnerable citizens have access to soap and water to wash their hands. The city is also partnering with Restoration House Ministries to install a community shower at 1204 North Moody Street. This will be a safe place where the homeless can go and take a warm shower and have access to clothes. Again, we want to make sure at this time of crisis that we are taking care of the most vulnerable in our community, and that's the homeless, and that's the elderly. And I want to thank all of Victorians who have called to volunteer, to donate materials, and also to donate money. So we really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. And we certainly want to support the vulnerable population, but really the entire population, right?
Yeah.
And so in summary, if you want to access some of those resources that Mike mentioned that don't only help the underserved population, but such as those out of employment, the Texas Workforce Commission resources phone number is 361-578-0341. To access the SBA disaster assistance loan, if you're a local small business owner, UHV SBDC's office is available at 361-485-4485. And the Chamber of Commerce's Facebook group is called Together for Victoria. And so next we'll introduce Glenn Dry. He is our chairman of the Golden Crescent COAD, and he'll talk to you a little bit more about those volunteer opportunities and resources within our community.
Oh, thanks, Ashley. So let me just tell you a little bit about what the Golden Crescent COAD is, what its mission is to provide a permanent forum for community organizations to develop and or strengthen preparedness, response, and recovery activities throughout our entire region. Our reach is 7 counties. That's why it's called the Golden Crescent, community organizations that are active in disaster. And so what we basically do is provide a table for those organizations, nonprofits or NGOs, non-governmental organizations, to come to the table and share what they do and how they do it. And if there's, during a time like this, those that can stand and help and offer assistance during a crisis or disaster are available to come into that same table so we can communicate together. And so to volunteer or to donate online, you can go to Victoria, Texas, victoriatxoem.org, or you can go to gccoad.org, okay? gccoad.org or victoriatxoem.org. Okay, those 2 websites will have buttons on there where some of these things I'm going to tell you about you can process and see where you want to go. For monetary donations, we're asking folks to go to those websites, or you can go directly to unitedwayvictoria.org. You can see right on their homepage where you can make a monetary donation, or call 361-578-3561. It's option 3, okay? Or if you want to send a check-in to the Victoria County United Way, 101 South Main Street, Suite 500, Victoria, Texas, 77901. You can also donate directly to VISD and call 361-576-3131 as well, and they will share with you their needs. Now, folks out there in the community, a lot of folks have been calling me or calling you, and they're saying, now, what can we do? Where can we go? What does that look like? So we want to give you some of that today and put some meat on that bone. So right now, I did it myself. I went on the Victoria United Way website. I applied myself as a volunteer. Got a message from them via a text, and then I followed that link. It showed me where there was a shift available for me to go to Meals on Wheels. And so I found out where my shift was. I contacted them, found out where they were. I went down to Meals on Wheels last Tuesday, met Dan, met their operations folks. I got a list of folks, 14 residents in Victoria, Texas. Got my Suburban and drove around Victoria for an hour and a half on streets I never even knew existed in Victoria, Texas. And I'm so glad I did it, and I got to meet some incredible people that are homebound in our community, and I got to provide a meal, put it on their door, and leave it on their door because there's some new procedures in place because of this, and make sure they're there. And so we want to know that that's exactly, I mean, I'm the guy that wants something to do like so many of you want something to do, and so that's something that you can really wrap your head around. So they need volunteers to drive, but also on Monday, they're going to be putting together 3,000 shelf-made ready meals, 3,000. So if you want to call Meals on Wheels directly, I'll give you their phone number in a minute, and you can. We prefer that you call, not just show up. Call them and tell them you're coming. and that way they can process you when you get there, and you can fill out appropriate documentation, and then that way on Monday, it would be incredible if 500 people showed up, right? That'd be awesome. But we know folks are still out there doing what they got to do, so they need to know and be prepared so they can put people in the right places on Monday to put all those meals together. And again, also you can call the Victoria United Way to volunteer. That's 361-578-3561. And if you want, and so I didn't call. I went on the website. I practiced on their website. It worked. But if you don't have access to the internet, you can call option 2. You'll get a hold of Jill. Jill will take care of you. She's the volunteer coordinator right now. And so groups can do that as well, as long as you're doing it within the confines of what our county officials have told us we can do, okay? There's some other areas when it comes to food distribution. And so you can call VISD at 361-576-3131 if you are available to help with food distribution. They said they're pretty much taken care of right now, but that may not be the case in the days ahead. So that's why you just want to put this on your radar screen right now. For material donations, folks have been asking, so what are the things, right? What are the things that can come down to be delivered, right? And that means, so what do you mean that? Where are those material donations going to go? They're going to go to our Victoria County Long-Term Recovery Group warehouse, which is the old Victoria Advocate building, which many people know in Victoria where that is. There's a warehouse manager there. His name's Daniel. You please make contact with him, and you can bring items down to him. And these are items that have been requested from our COAD members who are serving these populations in our communities. For food donations, we ask that you take them to the Golden Crescent Food Bank, who are serving so many people at this time. And we know the supply lines are going to get really complicated. They already are. And so any food donations need to be directed to 3809 East Rio Grande Street, Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Friday to 8 to 3 p.m. The food bank's phone number is 361-578-0591. And then any clothing donations, we ask that you take to the Salvation Army, please, to their location. I can give you that right here, 1302 North Louise Street, Monday through Friday, 10 to 3. And please call, like we're asking, even if you want to volunteer, you want to donate, give them a heads up. Don't just show up like we used to do. There's different protocols in place. 361-572-3779. Okay, and they'll direct you to the Salvation Army. And if you forget that warehouse or where that is located, they'll let you know when that happens from 10 to 3. And then for all the material goods, we ask you to take the Victoria Long-Term Recovery Group warehouse, the old Advocate building. They're taking donations from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and you can get in contact with Daniel, okay, and we can get you his contact information as well. And again, what can I do, right? It's not like Hurricane Harvey. This is a whole different operation. Right now, the biggest needs are being expressed by Meals on Wheels to provide meals to our homebound and to those who are becoming homebound because of these things that are put in place. So Meals on Wheels phone number is 361-576-2189. And you can call them directly if you know anyone who needs a meal delivered to their home so they can go through the process to sign up for that meal to be delivered to their house. Also, meals that are being delivered through Community Action Committee here in Victoria. If you know somebody who needs to get on the list to get a meal, you can call Community Action Committee, 361-578-2989. 361-578-2989, and that's the Community Action Committee. And also for students needing meals, contact VISD, please. And if you know anybody that's in need there, contact VISD for any meal deliveries that need to take place there. And again, I just want to remind folks, when we talk about these things in the midst of our table, when we come around, we look at things in regards to 3 M's. We look at money, we look at manpower, and we look at materials. I call it the 3M. It's easy to remember, right? And so people say, well, I don't want to donate, $5 or $10. Believe me, every dollar in this disaster is going to matter in major ways. There's going to be so many families that are going to be impacted that are going to need utility assistance and some rent assistance, and some of that stuff's going to be coming down the pipeline as well. But we want you to call the Victoria County United Way, 361-578-3561, option 3, or mail a check to them at 101 South Main Street, Suite 500, Victoria, Texas, 77901. And you can go to our website. Again, I'll remind you, victoriatxoem.org, or our Golden Crescent COAD, which is gccoad.org. And there's buttons on there you can also push and navigate if you want to go online. So that's pretty much sums it up for where we're at this point, but we'll be back at a later time with some more of the details.
Thank you, Glenn
You're welcome.
and Mike, for all you guys are orchestrating for our community. That was a lot of information for you guys, and so once again, you can visit victoriatxoem.org. Most of this information will be uploaded at the end of today. But vulnerable populations may not have access to a phone, right, or the website. And so one thing that they can do is the hand washing stations, we have flyers that contain all of this information. Media who are here today, you will have those flyers in your press packet. We also have a graphic of those flyers on our same website, victoriatxoem.org. And so now we'll open it up for questions. Sure.
Glenn, what do you feel, or what do you all feel, is the biggest need right now, the strongest need right now in our community?
So the question was, what do you feel the strongest need in our community is at this time? Today.
Meals on Wheels.
Okay.
Meals on Wheels, no doubt in my mind. It's helping equip them to do what they do every day, right? I mean, their numbers have doubled in the last 48 hours. So their staff was equipped to handle what they were doing on a daily basis. And if you're familiar with that, and if you're not familiar with it, we hope that you do now become familiar with them, and they become famous through this because of the hard work that they do on a daily basis, right? And leverage what they do for our community. And so their numbers doubled. And so I would say right now, that's what we're hearing on our calls. And also just a need for drivers to come, like I did, to go down and experience the process and get to meet it. And it's at the Senior Citizen Center on Murray Street, if folks know where that's at as well. So I would think right now that's the biggest need that we're hearing.
Yes, and to jump in too, yes, Meals on Wheels, they need drivers. We've also heard that there's a need for more hygiene kits, specifically hand sanitizers, I think. So many of our partners have talked about the need for more hygiene kits. We also have heard from our local businesses. They do need Victorians to at least frequent the establishments. I know through we have drive-throughs, a lot of businesses, some downtown in our communities. So we've heard from the businesses that we need as many, people to support the local businesses by going to shop and eat at the restaurants, at least through the drive-through.
I had a question.
Sure.
If I'm a person living in Victoria and I've been out of work or lost my job and I'm reaching a dire situation with my finances and maybe I have people depending on me, where do I start to get help? Where do I
Sure. So John with the Advocate just asked, if I'm in a dire situation and I'm out of a job, where do I go for those resources? Who do I seek for support? I think Glenn can answer that question.
Right now, we would first direct them to 211. Okay, 211 is a number that is a statewide number, has a database, the largest database in the state of Texas, where they could go and start the process of finding out where resources are for them. So that's where we would direct them to go, is to call 211. They can assess their need and then go through their database and see who can meet that need directly. And then if they don't get where they need to go with that, call our hotline. Step 2, call the hotline, let us know where their need, and then we can take that downstream and see if there's somebody within our community organization that can take care of that need as well. And that would probably be where I would go if I found myself in that situation. But I'd also be okay with driving through the line at Christ Kitchen from 11 to 1 o'clock and getting a to-go meal. I'd also be okay with going down to the Salvation Army at 5 o'clock and getting a meal. If I found myself in that situation, those are two things in this community that are still happening every single day. And Ingrid, you made me think of the fact that she reached out to me today and they need 9-inch to-go plates. So that's something that if our community, if you're sitting around and you just had an event and you got a bunch of extra 9-inch to-go plates laying around, take them to Christ Kitchen. She reached out to me today for that's something really, really specific. And then also you also made me think of the fact that she mentioned bottled water. Back nightmares from Hurricane Harvey. I don't know if anybody was with us during that time, but we had more bottled water than I think we had citizens in Victoria. I'm just kidding. It was amazing what happened during that time, and many of you guys know that. But we can receive pallets of bottled water at our warehouse. We have the ability to do that. But you could also, if you just happen to have a case of bottled water, you can drop that off at Christ Kitchen during their operation hours when they're getting ready to serve before 11 o'clock.
Glenn, earlier you mentioned a hotline, call our hotline. Can you
The-
reiterate what
the-
that number is?
Yeah, 580, you bet I will, at some point here in the near future.
Sure. Meanwhile, you had a question?
Yes, ma'am. In the meantime, what about companies or organizations that are using their homemade recipe for hand sanitizer, and they can do huge volumes for your need that you were saying for, basic hygiene?
Right.
What about those types of businesses that I know of who have, heavy employee numbers, that guys working in the oil field is an example, and their health directors are making hand sanitizers? That's something you guys would be interested in?
So just to repeat the question, there's local craftsmen and businesses who can produce things such as hand sanitizers,
Yes.
homemade even. Is that something we're looking for? Is that a need that's currently in our community?
Acceptable.
And is it acceptable? That's a very good question.
That's a good question. What we'd have to do is go downstream to our members, and ask them, would you be able to accept this?
Sure.
And I'll
Yeah.
get back to you on that.
Okay, perfect.
That's a good
And that
question.
hotline's 361-580-5796. And so many of you guys have that, but that would be the second step I would do after 211.
I know that, I think everyone knows that the service industry and restaurants are being especially hit hard, but what other sorts of businesses in our community are suffering during this time that we might not be thinking about?
So John's question was, what other type of industries or businesses are suffering right now outside of the service ones, which we commonly hear about? Mike, I think that might be a question you can address.
Yes, indeed, the service industry has been hit hard. But we've also seen that the small businesses, with 5, 10 employees have also been hit hard. And that is the reason why the administration pushed for the disaster loan program, because many of the small businesses are being hit the hardest. So it's not just the service industry, but it's really your small service and your small businesses, and hopefully they will apply for the disaster loans. And again, we encourage any small business owner to call the UHV Small Business Office for assistance. They can help you apply for the loan.
And real quick, that number to the UHV SBDC office is 361-485-4485. There any other questions?
And who is providing those loans, by the way? Are those federal approved loans?
Yes, they are federal through the Small Business Administration.
Do we have any idea about how many people are unemployed in Victoria County today?
The question was, do we have any idea about how many people are unemployed in Victoria County today? I think Mr. Guajardo, who we had, Henry Guajardo, the other day with the Texas Workforce Commission, answered that question, and I think it was pretty high. But I think that I would direct you to contact his office, and I can give you that number as well. It is 361-578-0341.
I got another question.
Sure.
If, if I'm someone who needs help, and maybe I haven't ever asked for help, anything, Mr. Dry or anyone else, that you would say to them to reassure them that it's okay to ask for help?
So the question was, if there's anyone who is really seeking help right now, is there anything we can say to reassure them that there is help available? Mr. Dry?
I would hope if they are listening or they hear this, that they realize that Victoria cares. And I've lived here my whole life and left for a little bit and came back 18 years ago. And I think if we learned anything from Hurricane Harvey, that this community is strong. And this community not only is strong, it cares and it's compassionate, as was stated earlier by Mike. And I would hope that you would check on your immediate family first, and then your extended family. And then as you go from there, you walk that out, and maybe you're involved in a small group or a club of some kind, and you meet monthly. You did meet monthly at a restaurant, and now that's changed for hopefully not for long. But you know those people, and so you reach out and you call them and ask them. And this is where you find out who your friends are, right? This is where you find out who your neighbors are, and being in an environment this community shares. And I think we can be just humbled by the fact that we do live in a community like that. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere, just like you are in this room. And we want to be here for one another, not just for one another, but we want to be here with one another as well while we're going through this together.
Thank you, Glenn. Real quick, I want to ask Mike, we had a pretty good question come up earlier, but you didn't get a chance to mention tourism and how the situation is impacting, museums, art, things like that. Can you address that?
Yes, unfortunately, the hotel occupancy rate has declined for this month. I believe it's down, I think, 30%. So that is something that we are keeping a close eye on. But yes, so that's the hotel occupancy rate is down.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, I have a few. So, as with there has been like a scam going around where people are coming up to people's doors and saying, hey, I'm here testing for COVID-19, and then they end up robbing people. I believe that's in other parts of the state or in the United States, but I just wanted to ask maybe how are we combating that here in our area or preventing that?
That's probably not an answer either any one of us can address. If that is an issue in our community, I can assure you our PD is aware of it. But I will definitely bring that to their attention and see if we can provide a better answer for you after this press conference.
Okay, and my second question is many people in Victoria County don't just work in Victoria County, they work in Calhoun or DeWitt, and some of these other places have cases. So what do you suggest that people who work for large retailers or plants or whatever outside of Victoria County, what do you suggest they do about going to work and trying to keep themselves isolated from the disease?
That's another good question. Mike, did you have something to add?
No, I don't. I think that's something that we can look into. But of course, we suggest or recommend that the businesses follow the CDC guidelines to make sure that their employees are safe. But that's pretty much all I can say is let's follow the CDC guidelines.
Right, as well as the local orders that our policymakers put into place, which again limits public gatherings of 10 or more. But we'll leave that for them for another time to elaborate more on. And so if we don't have any other questions, I'll go ahead and, sure, John, we'll take one more, just to wrap it up. Go ahead. You can ask both.
And we can assure people who are going to volunteer that they're going to be taking proper precautions and they're going to be safe enough from this virus when they're volunteering, right?
So the question was, can we assure that those volunteers who are volunteering in any of these organizations we've discussed will be taking proper precautions to ensure that they're safe?
Well, let me take it. The organizations that we work with are doing the best they can with what they have to take every precaution they possibly can, obviously because they already work with their people every day, right? And so they're having to put things into place and make some adjustments and changes just for those they service every single, and the people that come to Community Action or come to the Salvation Army or one of these entities within our community. So they've already had to make that adjustment. And most of them already do an incredible job themselves of making sure that was taking place prior to this, just adding extra precautions in case with the 6 feet distancing and putting those things into place, which I've watched happen, right? Even with me going and making sure that I drop the meal off at the door, right? Mm-hmm. And just visiting with somebody through the door, not opening the door, making a phone call to them to make sure they're there. Those things were already put into place even when I went down last Tuesday.
And, I feel like I already know the answer to this, but I would really love to hear you explain more about why it's so important for Meals on Wheels to get the help it needs. Why do you think they're facing so much more of a need right now?
So the question was, why do you think that Meals on Wheels is facing such a need right now during this COVID situation? Glenn?
Well, to me, the most obvious question is we told them to stay home. So, now that we've told people to stay home, and also it doesn't help that some folks through this process, they're really scared. and that has demobilized them even if they could get out. Now they won't get out. And so because of that, it's going to increase their volume. Not only do I believe, we know for sure it's doubled. And so where is that going to take us in the next 48 hours to 72 hours? We don't know, but there is a need for that. And so because of this conversation that we're having today, they probably are one of the most critical components and pieces to helping people, because we told them not to go anywhere. And for those who want to comply and do that, and this may be, in the situations I saw, it may be their only meal that they have for the day. I don't know that personally, but that's just my observation. So I'm just glad I was able to be a part of that process, so like so many others could do as well, and get to meet that service and what they do.
Thank you, Glenn. Well, I want to thank you, media, for being here, viewers online for watching and tuning in. Mike, Glenn, thank you so much for being here. Ms. Karen for interpreting today. And real quick, I just want to remind you guys that this Joint Information Center, these daily briefings, are your source of Victoria's most accurate information. Once again, that website that you can go to for all of this information and more is victoriatxoem.org. The COVID hotline, which is available Monday through Fridays, 8 a.m. to noon, and then 1 to 5 p.m., is 361-580-5796. It will be available on Suddenlink channels 15 or 115 at 6 p.m. tonight. Following the closing, it will also be aired on Q92, Jack FM, Club, and Kicks radio stations. And then for anyone with unmet needs, such as food or rent assistance, you can please call 211, as Mr. Dry mentioned earlier. And also the Harris Center was activated a 24/7 mental health call line to support our community during COVID-19, if you didn't catch that yesterday. The purpose of this line is to provide trauma-informed support and psychological first aid to those experiencing stress and anxiety related to the COVID-19 event. That number is 833-251-7544. Also, our specimen collection site will continue operating next week, only on Tuesdays and Fridays from 8 a.m. to noon. And then the last one I wanted to address, KVU had a question, and VPD did confirm that there are no cases of scam related to COVID in Victoria County. So I want to thank you all for your time. We'll see you again, same place, same time tomorrow. Have a great day.